Salutations, Utopians. Hope all is well in your world. Um, so I've been trying to, do some fact gathering. It's been a while since I've checked in and done some videos on my latest impressions. Um, I'm not a big, drop a video every time every little thing happens. I'd rather be more meaningful, like how I dispelled what was going on with the Milwaukee Bucks and all the rampant trade speculations, and how eventually things have settled, and it looks like now they're on a 5 or 6 game winning streak, and the future's looking very promising. Mind you, they're still waiting on, as I reported very early, much earlier than the major mainstream outlets had done so. Chris Middleton's now unofficially practicing, and so we're getting to a place now where all systems are a go. Even with respect to Denver, I've been watching them. They blew a huge lead the other night, but then you got to take into account there's no Aaron Gordon, and they still business as usual rock the Lakers like they always do. Despite that very, very important glue piece, they have their multi-position defender, 3-level scoring threat, Aaron Gordon, who's one of my personal favorites off the record, just for the sacrifice that he's made with his career. Huge fan of everything he's about out there, man. Congrats, salute, and way to be strong in these times. I know he's gone through some very unfortunate off the court issues from a family perspective. With that being said, I want to talk a little bit about the Pelicans, who might be a Western Conference foe of the Nuggets, depending on how they hold it down in the absence of Zion and Herb Jones. There's reports that Trey Murphy might be returning, which is big news. He's been out. They've had to weather the storm with Brandon Boston, ex-Clipper, who I got a video for, and the Clippers, that is, next. With that being said, Brandon Ingram has had to weather the storm. But I want to talk more of a psychological side of this stuff right now. Zion Williams, I've been a huge fan of him since Duke. It was clear as day he was a phenom, drawing comparisons among the likes of, Larry Johnson, LeBron, Anthony Mason, real dominant bulldozing figures. And it's been one hiccup after another. And as we all know, this week it was announced that CAA agency has dropped him as a client. He had a back tattoo recently, and like not even 24 hours later, they dropped him. Photo was viral, that of him with the beer belly, and I guess they seen enough. Weren't a fan of the tat, wasn't a fan of the beer belly. The tat resembles closely to the mascot Duke Blue Devil, sort of, but from a different angle. And so, I think Zion, upon learning of his contract, felt a little bamboozled. There's a lot of benchmark provisions to him getting to the full 197, which was kind of an underpay when you think about like guys like Franz Wagner getting north of 200 M's, Bam Adebayo. I mean, this guy single-handedly can catapult the team to first place. It's just about being on the court. And this was the biggest concern with Zion, was the weight issue. When you have a Ferrari engine with an army tank size physique, explosion after explosion, as you all remember the infamous moment in Duke where his shoe blew up. And so that's how explosive he quite frankly is. But he definitely is looking like he's lost a step a little bit. And it's been widely known since day one he did not want to go to the Pelicans. Without getting too TikTok conspiracy, I did not like that draft. How the Lakers got Anthony Davis, the Lakers bullied the Pelicans out of Anthony Davis, and then somehow miraculously they just happened to perfectly land Zion despite the very large odds of not being able to get the first pick, even though it is a random draw. Just a little bit too much of a coincidence for my comfort. and he's never been motivated in that market since. They have a rich history, oxymoron a little bit, and what I'm about to say, the Pelicans have a rich history of, um, you know, having great players and them just eventually needing to change scenery. Drew Holiday, generational talent. I don't care what nobody says. I agree. I stand with Andre Iguodala. Uh, you know, taken widely for granted. CP3, who's my unpopular or maybe popular opinion of like who I view as one of the greatest players of all time. I don't care about the rings. There's a lot that goes into getting a ring. Just off pure, resume. That man has done nothing but add to every place he's gone to. Um, Anthony Davis, obviously, was the other one. Now, to their credit, that market did help get Tyson Chandler on the right track. So I don't want to make it seem like they're all bad, but they have struggled in years past. It's a very uninspiring attendance record if you look at the numbers historically. Willie Green, I feel for that guy, man. He's being asked to do a lot with little, and the Pelicans are in this are in this Emiratis Cup tournament, and watching these guys, and it's just like next man up. But this ain't the NFL. The NBA has far less spots, roster spots, and so it's unfortunate. But I want to just put this on the record. I really do think it's time for a change of scenery. It's reported that he never wanted to be in New Orleans. He wanted to go to New York. I've voiced several times in years past. The president of the New York Knicks is also formerly the president of the creative arts agency that Zion was signed to. Clearly, this news this week dispels any chance that he goes to New York and replaces Julius Randle, but who knows? There could be some type of, who knows how this plays out. Maybe this is the player that really officially bridges the gap between Rich Paul and, Leon Rose and the New York Knicks, because there has been a history of we'll never deal with them. And then they turn around and say, hey, we would love to have open channels of communication and business relations. The Knicks have been long accused of only creating a monopoly of creative arts agency clients, and which is, remember, Julius Randle dropped CAA, then returned. They ended up trading him anyway to Minnesota. So it's getting real stuffy and confusing right now, and in terms of the direction of what the Knicks are going to do next. They clearly need a piece. Spoke about Aaron Gordon. They need an Aaron Gordon-like player to take it over the top. So, with Zion, if New York's not an option, the only other team I would really love to see him go to is Charlotte. And this opens the doors to what is confusing to me. Bovada issued their likely landing spots for Zion a couple weeks ago, and the Hornets were not on the list. If you're the Charlotte Hornets with a generational talent like LaMelo Ball, everyone, first of all, the history of LA sports basketball, pro sports basketball. They get who they want when they want a player. The Lakers, at least. And you got Ballmer now with this flashy stadium, the Intuit Dome, and he's got to get a main draw. James Harden's been great. I'm going to make a video soon about that Clippers dynamic thing. He's averaging a triple-double almost. But they need a marquee name, a marquee style player, someone who does something tremendous. A Cam Thomas would even do, Zach LaVine, just something real flashy to entertain the fans, regardless win, lose, or draw. And there's not a lot of those guys, but when they're there, you got to go get them. That's why, VJ Edgecombe, who's a top 5 projected player, I don't think he has the basketball acumen down, but he's such a freak nature athlete, and he's got the right type of marketing build-up. Why guys like that get to make it to the league. Ja Morant, another one of those guys you watch, and you don't even remember, you walk away, you don't even remember who won or lost. You're just like, damn, did you see that move? That's how Vince Carter did it. And so maybe, and you know what, I'm thinking about it. Maybe the Clippers could even, but I don't see the Pelicans sending him to a West Coast team to have to deal with that every year. They still have hefty contracts they've put out. Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Brandon Ingram. We don't know what that's going to happen. He's another guy who lost his agency this week, but he fired his. Zion was actively dropped. I want to see him in Charlotte. I would like to see him in Charlotte. Um, but that's where eyebrows get raised, because if Charlotte's not on that list, do you think that like LaMelo's? I know they got a guy in Diamante over there showing a lot of promise, very extremely versatile skill set, high motor, high impact, which is very key. You can have all the skill in the world. That motor has to be the first thing. And so, are they going to double down and use this as a way to birth a star? Do you go with the ex-Duke alum who North Carolina is? Duke is in North Carolina, and the Hornets are in North Carolina, and I don't think him being close to home will allow him to get loose like that. Plus, you have a teammate like Grant Williams who can hold him accountable, who's also on the heavy stature, physique-wise speaking. I think it would be really good for him to go over there and then have a lob threat for LaMelo, a guy who can command a double team on his own. LaMelo looks exhausted in these games. I've watched at least 80% of the Hornets games, and it's LaMelo, and then everyone else is like 15, 14, 14, like that. Having a certified stud you can count on to take the next leap. Brandon Miller's good, but physically he needs some time to develop. He's another guy who's, very skinny on the skinny side, and it's the wear and tear of an 82-game season asking someone to be a high-volume scorer physically when they have a very low BMI body mass index. Is going to be quite demanding to expect. They do have loose pieces too. Obviously, there's the untouchables, the Melos, the Brandon Millers, Trey Mann. That's crazy, But Curry, but a Diamante, a Miles Bridges, Mitchell, the point guard, because they Murray's been out for quite some time. I hear he's going to make his return on Wednesday, but these are the things that the Hornets need to start thinking of, unless they're going to give in to their father's to Melo's father's wishes, LeVar, and send him to L.A. because that would be very intriguing, LaMelo and with the Clippers, or and so I don't see him wanting to go to the Lakers, but the Clippers. And this was first brought up by Chandler Parsons. So nothing's happening yet, but it's something that should be thought about. And don't sleep on it, because as we approach the trade deadline, the Pelicans might want to just clear house and go with the blue collar look. Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, build around that. Jose Alvarado, Yves Missy. They got a nucleus. It won't take much to rebuild. And power forwards, it's becoming a little more scarce, but you can still find them. And so if you're the Pelicans, it might serve you best to be like, you know what, I'll take Diamante over Zion, especially since they seem to not want to play him. Don't forget, they still got Mark Williams over there, who's got to come off the injury list, and Richards. So the Pelicans, either they're going to go the real organic route, or perhaps they try something and try to jump the line. But this is a storyline I would just say be on the lookout for. All right, Utopians, I'll try to do better next time. Global, out.